So firstly, we'll make this session more interactive. I mean, I'll not show you all these boring slides in the later stages when we install our SolarWinds. What I'll do is I'll make whatever we discuss, we'll do it in a practical way so that you'll understand. And moreover, I'll explain in such a way that so what are all the real scenarios that you might get you want to do within your company. That way will drive this so that you will get most benefit out of this training. So so basically this slide which I am presenting is discuss about the complete npm core architecture. So npm is basically the heart of SolarWinds, and if you know npm, your 80% of the work is done, whereas the other modules like ncm nta, and you are a storage team, storage guy, and there is a module in SolarWinds for storage monitoring as well, which is called srm. It's just an extension to an npm to enhance the additional capabilities of storage monitoring with the help of storage srm module. So that's how we're going to use other modules. But here firstly we'll start with npm, and we'll show you what in npm what is network monitoring, and then what is discovery, what is polling, objects, custom properties, groups, views, limitations, menu bars, all these things which you are seeing in the screen. Will be doing it in a practical way. So alerts is something, as I discussed you earlier, we'll go phase by phase instead of showing you all alerts. So if we complete the npm alerts, I'll show you 3 to 4 uh, alerts that we can create for npm related services. If you complete storage module, I'll show you how to create storage alerts. That way it will be easier for you to get things going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And i'll
So
i'll walk you through. Mm,
how about SAM, Chandra?
mm. Yeah, yeah,
SAM model?
Sam. Yeah, after NPM, SAM will be main focus.
Okay.
I guess SRM we might or we might not, because SRM I can show you in a it's a SolarWinds demo site. There I'll show you how to add SRM and then
SRM
how to monitor
SRM
SRM,
means
because
SRM means it's a
resource
storage,
manager.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
The thing is, we don't have real life storage boxes, right?
I
LUNs
know.
and
I can
arrays.
understand. Yeah.
So yeah, that I'll show you how to add a LUN and array into SolarWinds, and from there how to alert on it. And from there, that's the thing that we do in SRM module. The main work will be in NPM and some other modules like SAM, NCM, and NTA. With SRM, we just onboard the LUNs or arrays to SRM and then try create alerts on it. That's it. So we don't do it on a regular basis. It pulls all the disks within that.
Okay. So basically,
Okay.
we talk
Yeah.
more on even on the SAM also, right?
Yeah. We'll discuss more on the SAM, NPM, NCM, and NTA.
Okay.
Yeah. So SolarWinds platform is designed keeping in mind that entire OSI framework layer. Whether it comes to the network, we have some set of network modules to monitor to monitor the virtualization layer, the VMware or hypervisor. We have the virtualization manager, and basically to monitor the services within the server, or you need to write a script and monitor something, then you can make leverage of server and application monitor. If you have a storage boxes, and you can add it to SRM and then alert on it. If you have the databases, you can use database performance analyzer. If you haven't purchased DPA module, then you can monitor to some level of database monitoring using SAM, not fully, to some level. Microsoft SQL Server and MySQL will be monitored completely, whereas we have different flavors of databases like Oracle and Amazon Linux and everything, right? Amazon RDS, and so all those stuffs we need to monitor using database performance analyzer. So yeah, we'll discuss more. And log manager is basically for collecting the syslogs and traps from our network devices or Windows or Linux servers. And then we have server configuration manager, which basically gives us some details about server inventory, like uh, what is the version is running, what is the when was the patches installed, that kind of information. uh, Very less people use this server configuration manager, but if someone wants to use it, it's very straightforward. I mean, we just need to have a credentials to log in into the server, and then it will start pulling all the server related information. It From there it will help you to manage it better, like if you want to pull out a list of servers where this vulnerability patch has not been installed, you can simply pull it up using this module. So that kind of benefits we have, but very less related things that we'll discuss in this course. But just providing you an overview if you want to use, if you want to extend your use cases in your real-time environment. Yeah, and we can monitor on-premises host, SaaS applications, and then cloud devices as well within these modules. Basically, this bundle that here is called HCO bundle, Hybrid Cloud Observability Bundle. So apart from storage resource monitor and database performance analyzer, you'll get all the modules within HCO licensing model. Okay. Previously, we used to purchase a license for NPM. We used to purchase license for traffic analyzer. We used to purchase license for NCM, purchase separate license for them. Now he have merged all these things into one license, except these two, and then provided us as a HCO bundle. And how gonna he calculate the license? Depending upon the number of IP addresses that we add into NPM. He's not even worried whether we are making leverage of this IP that is added in NPM with the other modules. He's only calculates based on the IPs that is added in NPM.
Okay.
Any
One moment.
questions? Yeah.
Yeah. So you said in HCO some modules will not come. What is that? What are those
Yeah.
modules?
You see the modules here. From these modules, storage resource monitor and database performance analyzer are not part of
Hold
HCO.
on.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm able to see only the PPT here. Yeah, are you sharing anything else?
Yeah, PPT only. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sharing PPT only. In the
Okay.
PPT architecture, do you see the storage resource monitor? I'm moving my mouse
No, no,
here.
no, 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 no. Only the
Oh,
the PPT first slide is showing. That's it.
which PPT? You're not seeing Orion or Core NPM?
No, 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 no. Course
Oh,
outline. It is there with the course outline only. Yeah, now it is.
oh,
Now I'm able to
okay,
see.
okay,
And
okay.
also your
I was explaining
hold on
about.
one
Yeah.
second. Let me increase your screen also. It is show short. And this interface is also new to me. Uh,
Mm,
this
yeah. I mean,
what is this? How to make this big one? I am not sure. One second. Camera share. Okay. Okay. I'm not able to find. Uh, hold on. I am talking to everyone. Okay. This is okay, active camera. Yeah. So now I'm able to see your screen. Yep. So now, so in the HCO you said. So what are the additional things which will not come? Chandra, you're able to hear me? Hello.
oh yeah. So, okay, okay. Someone has muted me. Maybe by a
Oh,
mistake. I
maybe.
think.
No, no, no. Maybe my I might have done. I might have done
uh,
because I was clicking so
okay.
many things.
Yeah. I was. Yeah. Okay, fine. Have you see? Can you see this overview Orion Core
Yes.
NPM PPT? Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
basically this was the thing that I was talking about. SolarWinds, I'll just give you a one more time explanation of what I did earlier so that you'll get some clarity. So SolarWinds platform is designed to monitor the on-premises, hosted and cloud applications as well. So we have these three modules here for designed for network monitoring.
Are you
These
moving the cursor?
virtualization manager.
Are you
Yeah,
using the
yeah, mouse.
no,
Yeah,
it is
I'm
not.
moving the mouse.
No, it's not moving here. So
Mm.
can you just it is in the not in presentation mode. Are you doing in presentation mode or in the normal mode?
Yeah, 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 I'm doing in the presentation mode.
Okay, so that is not visible to me. If it is non-presentation mode, I'm able to see.
Uh-huh. What? Why is this? I think maybe is it a problem with the. Hmm. So can you see this Orion Core NPM?
Yeah, I'm able to see, but not in the presentation mode, in the regular mode. So
Okay,
edit mode is there, right? In
okay,
that mode, I'm able to see.
okay. So now can you see my mouse?
No,
Now cursor moving. Can you see my cursor moving? No?
no. I think you can just stop the sharing and reshare
Yeah,
once
yeah,
again. Let's see.
yeah.
Yeah, it is stopped now.
1 minute, Raman.
Yeah, sure.
I'll try to share my entire screen and we'll see. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, I'm able to see your screen. Now can I just go to presentation mode? We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about now?
Yes, yes. So now it's perfect.
My cursor.
Yeah, now your cursor is also moving. I'm able to see
Okay.
that.
So basically, the first three modules here are um, uh, you can see the screen right still.
Yes, yes. Network
Okay.
performance monitor.
Yeah. These three are designed for network. The virtualization manager is designed for VMware hypervisors monitoring. We just add those into these modules, and the server and application monitor uh, is basically has the capability to monitor what is there with inside the server, like services uptime, like any folder consuming any space consuming any folder or any log file that has some keywords to find that kind of information, some part of databases monitoring, any kind of script monitoring that will be useful in SAM. Okay.
Okay,
And SRM basically for storage boxes monitoring, and DPA for database monitoring. Log manager basically for monitoring syslogs and traps, and server configuration manager basically gives us the configuration details of the server. So within the modules that I'm showing here, apart from SRM and DPA, everything will be coming under HCO bundle.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
custom
Got it.
they
Got it.
have some licensing structure called HCO 500, which means you can add up to 500 IP addresses to HCO within the SolarWinds. If it is
Okay.
HCO 750, you can have up to HCO 750.
Oh, is that a product name that is HUF 500 is a product name or it's just a license or something?
No, it's a product name that comes with all these modules apart from these two.
Okay. Okay. So
Nowadays,
you
they
said,
have changed the license name
mhm,
like that. HCO has hybrid cloud observability.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned one point about this, the licensing one. So it is based on the number
Mhm.
of IP addresses we have added, right? That
Yes, correct.
basically, so if a server is having a 4 IP address, so then
Mm.
it will consume 4 licenses.
You'll not add four IP addresses into SolarWinds console, right? You will only add
No.
one IP
Okay.
address.
Okay. The one which is
And
added
mm,
only for that it will take.
Yes, you'll add using mostly one IP, and it
Okay,
also has the capability to poll all the IP addresses associated to that server.
got it, got it.
Okay, and
Yeah,
the other polled ones will not be calculated as license.
got it, got it.
Yeah,
So one more question. So here in the
yeah.
under virtualization manager, what we will monitor?
The basic VMware ESXi hosts and hypervisors.
Okay, so means we can monitor hypervisors
Yeah,
using virtualization manager.
virtualization
So
manager.
don't we means is it not possible to monitor this ESXi host using server and application monitor?
No, if you want to make use of server and application monitor, there is a prerequisite that you need to add the IP address in network performance monitor.
Okay, so we have to add the ESXi host using network performance monitor and then
Make use of server and application monitor to monitor what are the things inside that server.
oh, is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, any other questions?
Yeah. So here you mentioned the Orion platform, right?
Yeah,
So now, this is nothing but a HCO, or that is different from this one.
yeah.
HCO is different
Actually,
from this
the very first stage, SolarWinds name was Orion platform.
one. Mhm.
Okay, and later they have completely moved from Orion to SolarWinds. So this architecture was a very old one. I mean, nowadays Orion is replaced as completely as SolarWinds.
Mhm.
Okay, so but they still hasn't changed the name. But yeah, we call it as an Orion platform. Some people, whenever you hear a word called Orion platform,
Mhm.
you should simply think it as a SolarWinds platform.
Okay. So
Yeah,
Redmine platforms and Orion platform both are same.
both are same.
Okay.
So the moving on to the architecture, architecture is very simple, and yeah, firstly, SolarWinds is will only be installed on a Windows. It is developed on a .NET framework, and you can down once you purchase the license, whether it is HCO or NPM individual license, they'll give access to the customer portal, their SolarWinds customer portal. We can log in into that with our credentials, and then download the software. Once we download the software, uh, we should actually get three database server for a small environment. One for installing SolarWinds application, where we'll have the web console, and another is for SolarWinds database, where this application talks to the database, and the third server is for NTA NetFlow. So SolarWinds recommends that SolarWinds Orient database and NetFlow database on two different servers, because the NetFlow data will be vast, and if storing both core and NetFlow database in one server will have a lots and lots of impact on the performance. So that's why they have designed architecture to have two databases and one polling engine. Polling engine is nothing but basically we'll talk about two concepts here: main polling engine and additional polling engine. For now, we'll discuss it as one application server. Okay,
Mhm. So, so you're saying the three database servers, one for application and another.
two database server, one application server. Uh, yeah, and one
Yeah.
application server will have website on it.
Okay.
We can scale our application servers
Okay.
depending upon the capacity.
Okay.
Okay, capacity of things that we are monitoring.
That is
And
that
for
is
the
that that database you call it as Orion SolarWinds Orion database, right?
basically, yeah, this database is called SolarWinds Orient database,
Uh-huh.
and this database is called NetFlow database, and this is our server.
Okay.
Okay, you try to think like we have three things. A SolarWinds architecture consists of three elements. One is application server and two database servers. One is SolarWinds Orient database and second one is NetFlow database.
Okay.
Okay, till here you are clear.
Yeah.
And
So
now once you have installed that, you can start adding your devices, network devices into this console. Okay,
okay.
okay, and
Yeah.
this console and how it will work. So basically, um, your application server will contact the database or the device that you have added. It's a Linux server or a Windows server or a network server, and asks for the information and then writes it into the database. For every 2 minutes, it performs the same way. For every 2 minutes, it uh, talks to the router or a Windows server, gathers the information like what is the CPU, what is the memory, what is the disk free size, and then writes it to the database. Okay.
Yeah. I got a question here.
Mm.
So you said the three database server, but here you have,
Two, two,
you have only two
two
database server,
database
right?
server, two
Two
database
database server.
servers, and one application server.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, one
Okay. One
application
application
server
server,
and
two
two
database
database
server.
servers.
Got it.
Okay,
So if NTA is not there means then that is
you
enough,
can
right?
go with, yeah, that if NTA module is not there, you can only install single database.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And one more question is so with respect to this log one you said log
Mm.
analyzer or something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is to collect the syslogs from the clients and store it on the SolarWinds server.
SolarWinds server. No, it also earlier it used to store it on the same Orient database.
Okay.
Now, due to vast growth in logs, they have asking us to create a new database within the SolarWinds Orient server only
Hmm.
for log storage database,
Okay.
and all the logs being collected will be returned to log database.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why in your environment, if you might see another database called SolarWinds Orient Log. Don't get confused. That means your log viewer logs are being ingested into SolarWinds Log because of SolarWinds or database to avoid performance issues for SolarWinds Orient database.
So that database you said what do you call that one?
SolarWinds Log Viewer.
One second. Log viewer. SolarWinds log viewer DB. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Please
Okay.
continue.
Yeah. So far clear, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm clear.
So yeah. So your application server, SolarWinds application server, will talk to the devices added into SolarWinds and then writes the information of whatever is being sent to the database. What
Yeah.
information? Like the metrics information, CPU, memory, disk space, up and down information, everything. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So this is a this is a very simple architecture. Now let's move to the high availability of this architecture. Okay. The
Okay.
database high availability, we are not even worried about it. It's something the SQL database team or the Microsoft SQL database team will take care.
Okay.
All that we just have to collect the uh, uh, they'll give us a virtual IP or a virtual host name that is being assigned to two database servers, and that we have to give it to our application. That's it.
Okay.
We are only responsible for our application high availability. So here, if our application goes down, we can't access this console, right?
Correct.
The database is running, but the application is down. We can't access this console. So if the application is up, their database is down, we engage our DBS and they'll start working on it. And it's a mutual thing between both of us to set up a database at high availability. If we have to ask them for the better recommendations, and as per the SQL Server standard, they will update the database high availability.
Okay.
But the application high availability is something that we have to configure. So there are two concepts in SolarWinds high availability. One is configuring the high availability within the same data center,
Okay.
meaning within the same subnet. Second thing is configuring the high availability within the different data centers in different data sets. Sorry, in data center.
Okay.
Okay. So one small thing that we have to take into consideration between these two is, if we are configuring it on the same data center, a virtual IP will be fine. We can be used for configuring the edge. I mean, for setting a virtual IP is required. What that virtual IP will do? Let's assume this is our main polar, and this main polar will be down. And basically, this main polar will have two things here. One is the static IP, and another one is the virtual IP that we have created for HA. Okay. If the main polar is down, this virtual IP will be shifted to standby. So that way, end users and the database doesn't know which if it is on whatever server it is, we can start communicating the end users and the database. It will not have impact.
So,
Making sense?
yeah, so, but yeah, so when you say high availability, so it is among the servers, right? Here, Polar is also there, and their server, you're saying, what is this?
Standby Orion server. Let's forget about the Polar. I'll tell you about the Polar later
Okay.
stages and the
Okay.
additional polling engine. You treat it as Orion server and standby server.
Okay. So one will be active and another will be standby.
One will be active and another will be standby. Yeah.
So it
So
is always
active
like
passive
this
mode.
only.
Yeah, it is always like active passive mode.
Okay.
And we'll assign two IPs to the active. One is virtual IP and second is the static
Actu-
IP. The virtual
Okay.
IP is something that will be moving between standby and active.
Okay.
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 And that this is something within the high availability of within same data center or within
Okay.
same subnet.
Okay.
Okay. If the high availability is within two regions,
Mhm.
then we need a virtual host name. We need to bind the IP address to a virtual host name. So whenever main server goes down, it talks to our DNS server and gets the virtual host name and assign that to standby server. Okay. The reason because that for that is uh, within data center the local DNS would suffice. But if it is within different centers, with data centers, we need a DNS server, right? We need DNS information.
So that means, so even in the same data center also we need DNS, right?
But the local virtual DNS will be fine, right? To communicate,
Yes.
if they both are on same subnet, there is no
Correct.
communication. They can easily communicate without any kind of restrictions.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the reason why they have designed like this. A simple concept behind is, if you are planning for on a same subnet, you have to use virtual IP. If you are planning for on multiple subnets on different subnets, you have to get a virtual host name, and that virtual host name you have to update in your DNS records, and provide those DNS server details for the SolarWinds server. That's it.
Mhm. But so let's say I have server one and server two, server one in India, server two in US. So
Mhm.
virtual host name means, so how?
Yeah, a
So
name like suppose for example, uh, let's say our virtual host name is nothing but an IP that has a host name
okay.
like india.solarwinds.com and us.solarwinds.com, and our you can create there are two servers here, india.solarwinds server and us.solar, and you here you can create a virtual host name like global.solarwinds.com and
But the same
use
thing,
that.
yeah,
mm,
yeah, I'm sorry. But the same thing even we will be doing even for virtual IP also, right? Even for
yeah, it
virtual
will
IP also, we'll be doing the same thing, right?
correct, but you don't need to give any dns server details here for in the virtual in the first case. In the first case you don't need any dns ip, any dns host name. It will automatically create a local ip within the network so that it starts communicating between these two without contacting your dns server.
Mhm. Okay. So if you have any link to understand more, you can just share it with me. I'll just go through it. Yeah,
Okay,
somewhere I have some doubts on this, how it
okay,
works in
okay,
the back end.
that's how it
Just
is designed, basically between single subnet and multiple subnets, but I can
okay.
give it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sure.
And yeah, uh, I just want to give you one more thing. This Orion server, where our website is hosting, is also called as a main polar.
Okay,
Okay, just keep in. We'll also have call it as main polar.
okay.
Okay,
So
so just keep in mind. And now we'll look at the capacity things of SolarWinds. So yeah, the latest version of SolarWinds uh, can support up to 12,000 elements. 12,000 elements is nothing but I mean, for example, if you add a network router, a router has 10 interfaces, right? A router has 10 interfaces. Here it will constitute of 11 elements. If you add a Windows server and it has C drive and D drive and two interfaces, here it will contribute, it will take the capacity of 5 elements. Okay.
mhm. Oh,
Am I making sense?
yeah.
Like
So Windows
like
use
this?
so
Yeah. Go ahead.
Windows. Are you moving your mouse?
No, I'm at the Orion capacity
Okay,
PPT.
the
Can
slide.
you see it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So now, when you say for Windows, you said it takes 5 elements, right?
Yeah. I'm just giving you an example. It can be many things. Let's assume we have a Windows server that is added into
Okay.
SolarWinds.
Hmm.
And moreover, uh, okay, yeah. Let's say we have a Windows server and we have C drive, D drive, and two
Hmm.
interfaces in it, and we
Okay.
have added C drive, D drive, and two interfaces into monitoring. Now, what is the element concept in SolarWinds? The, the each monitoring entity is considered as an element. Here, for a Windows server, these five things, 5 elements, has been used by one Windows server.
Okay. So Windows server is one element. C drive, D drive, interface one
Is
and two
one
is
element.
another.
Yeah,
Mm.
like such, SolarWinds application server can handle up to 12,000 elements.
Okay.
That's it. That's it capacity. That's the capacity of SolarWinds.
Okay.
Okay, let's say if you added a router with 10 interfaces, it will
Mhm.
consider as 11 elements. That like that, it will approximately monitor it, and approximately around 540 or 550 IP address will contribute to this 12,000 elements based on my past experience.
Okay. So now, when it comes to router, you said it, 11 elements, right? And interfaces. Is
Yeah,
interface is nothing but one port on the
yeah,
one port,
correct.
physical port on the router?
Yeah, perfect. A physical port is nothing but an interface. When it has actually uh, written some configuration, the iOS configuration, it actually changes. we call it as interface. A physical port is nothing but an interface.
Okay. So if it means if they are using one port for multiple purpose, do we call it as multiple interfaces on that, or is there something like that, or
No,
it is
no, no.
always
It's a
only
single
one port on
interface
that?
only.
Single
It's a
interface.
single interface only.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. Will one polling engine, or sorry, one main poller can accommodate you up to 12,000 elements. What if, let's say, these 12,000 elements let's assume 500 IP addresses has reached these 12,000 elements.
Okay.
500 IP addresses has reached these 12,000 elements,
Okay.
and we still have 500 devices, 500 IP addresses.
Okay.
What do we do? We have a concept called scalability engine, which is nothing but an additional polling engine. We can install SolarWinds software on another Windows server where we'll not have a website on it. But apart from website, everything will be worked as a main server only. That is called additional polling engine or a scalability polling engine or a additional poller. Okay.
Okay. So that means
So
no on the pollers there will not be a website application. Only the
yeah,
polling will be there.
yeah. Some people are sometimes the main server, they call it as main poller,
Okay.
and additional pollers. That's the name. That's the naming that some people also call it. Main polling engine, additional polling engine, main poller, additional poller. All those are main poller means we'll have a website. Additional pollers will not have a website. It will talk to the main poller about the status, about the heartbeat of the server, and it will do other functionalities like collecting the other 500 device information and writing to the database.
So in the additional polar one, um, uh, will there be any database for this additional polar also?
Yeah, it will again talk to the same SolarWinds Orion database.
Okay, but it will not have the database.
It will not have the database. It will talk to the SolarWinds Orion database only. How many you can have more number of additional pollers depending upon your capacity, depending upon your IP addresses.
Mhm.
Okay, and all that will talk to your SolarWinds core database that you have installed only.
Okay. So that means uh, does this additional polar uh, directly talk to web
Database.
server or the
Yeah,
directly talk to web
it
database?
talks to the database, and the status, whether it is up and running, if it is able to, if it is all the SolarWinds services are working fine, will be communicated to main server. The other information which is collected by the other 500 IP addresses like CPU memory information will be directly returned to the database by the additional polling engine.
So that means all the data means only the polar will collect the information and send it to main server.
uh, no, I mean its own, I mean main additional polar will talk to the database. It has its own thing, set of capabilities whatever main polar will do. I mean, some main polar should know, right? Whether the
Yes.
all the additional polling engine is working fine or not. That heartbeat only will be sent about the status of that server. Heartbeat only will be communicated to main polar.
Okay. So, uh, okay, let's say the main polar database is down. Okay. So,
Mm.
what is the status of this additional polar? What will
So
happen?
may Yeah. So these additional polar will start collecting the information from the devices or IP addresses assigned to it for monitoring and writes it to the database.
So the
But
database
you can't log in into the server. You can't log in into the URL console, SolarWinds web
okay.
console, because main
Okay.
polar is down. Once you log in into the main Polar console, when the main Polar is back up, then you can see the things that has been done by your additional Polar.
Okay. So are we connecting the database to this additional Polar?
Yes, yes,
Okay. So
yes. On
okay.
how
So
many
the
servers you have to connect your database to this server.
okay. So for all the additional Polars, we need to connect to the database server.
Correct.
Okay.
So yeah, so I think we'll move to the system requirements. Basically, the hardware requirements. So what I mean, I was just telling you about, right? What kind of window, if it is a Windows server, how much CPU should we have? How much hard disk should we have? How much memory should we have? So if it is a small scale environment, let's say if it is very less devices, okay, up less than 500 elements. If it is if elements are less than 500, then a 4 core or 8 core and a 16 to 32 GB, whatever you prefer, is fine. Okay, and if it is a large environment, you can have from 8 core. Minimum is 8 core, maximum is 12 core. You can have beyond 12 core as well, depending upon if you want a higher performance, and the RAM is 32 GB and 64 GB. Okay, you here have also given the hardware requirements link as well. I'll share the PPT, and you can look at this link and find out or design your hardware requirements accordingly. Okay.
Yeah. So Chandra, I am getting one more question. So
Mm.
this in the let's say we have the both the two web servers on the same site, that is in the same subnet. Okay. So we need to create a
Two,
virtual IP,
yeah,
right?
two web
We need to
servers or two SolarWinds servers.
okay.
One main
Okay.
server and okay,
Another is standby.
okay. Oh, you're
Can we
talking about high availability. Okay, okay,
Yeah, high
okay.
availability.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
in high availability, can we make both nodes as a high available? Or that means they
No,
can both be active?
mm, no. The SolarWinds
Okay,
is designed in such a way that you'll only it works only in the active passive mode.
okay. That's the
You
first
can
question. And
have an additional
uh-huh,
web server as well,
hmm
which will not do the polling for you. Like whatever the 2 minutes thing that you actually collect from the devices and write to the database, right? That
hmm
will not be performed by the additional web server. The additional web server will give you the flexibility for more users connecting to SolarWinds at once. Let's say you have an addition, you have some 50 people logging into SolarWinds, and so you see the SolarWinds is taking a lot of time because of too many users logged in. Then you can give additional web server where this web server will accommodate you another extra 10 or 15 users.
Okay. So in that
Yeah.
case, we will have the virtual IP, right?
Yeah, for the additional web server, you'll not have anything. It will also be active. Uh, for virtual IP will be when you are on the same subnet in an active passive mode. If you have configured your HA in active passive mode, you have to use your virtual IP.
No, getting confused. So, so first question is, let's say we have only one web server. Okay. So in that
Okay.
one web server, we will add another web server in the same
Okay.
subnet.
Yeah.
If we add that, then one will
You
be
have to
active,
use
another will be passive,
be
right?
standby.
So passive,
Mm, mm,
standby.
mm.
Okay, I'll go
Yeah.
to standby. Okay. So now you said one more thing. So if the more number of if there are more number of users for the application, in that
Yeah.
case, how the two nodes will act?
Yeah, forget about the additional web server concept. I'll tell you later. Once you got a better understanding of SolarWinds, we'll discuss about this additional web server. So
Okay.
that's why I don't want to reveal the additional web server concept anywhere in the slide, because we'll have too many questions.
Okay.
During the time of installation, I think you'll get a better understanding of what role additional web server plays. Let's
Okay.
focus on two servers which are acting in the active passive mode.
Okay.
Yes, if these two server which works in active passive mode are on same subnet, you need a virtual IP.
Okay. So this virtual IP is configured where? Where do we configure this virtual IP?
Uh,
Is it in the
you
application?
yes,
So in the
in the
application, so in
application
the SolarWind
settings,
application, we configure it.
in the SolarWinds application, we'll configure it.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
So yeah, any questions on the system requirements? I mean, there
No.
is a good documentation that it will be changing. You can refer that,
Yeah.
and then yeah.
This will be
So
keep changing, right?
yeah,
So
this keeps
as
changing.
according to the
Yeah,
requirements, we have to build it.
yeah. So there are some standard ports related to SolarWinds that we have to keep in mind, or I mean, it might come to you while working on the system. So 17777 is a SolarWinds Orion module engine, which is a SolarWinds core service port. Yeah, I think maybe we yeah, what I'm thinking is, so let's uh, discuss about these ports once we have installed the SolarWinds software. After that, most of your questions will be clarified.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Meanwhile, I'll just show you some things. So this is a demo SolarWinds environment. If you want to use, so once you have deployed or installed SolarWinds software on all your servers, you'll get an access console page. Here, if you go to settings, all settings, and then if you go to hmm, yeah, I think you can go this way as well. In the settings tab, if you go to my deployment, you'll see all your servers here.
Okay.
Okay, if I expand the main pool, here you see there you have two servers. One is main server and one is main server backup. Okay, this is the HA setup that we do. We do our HA setup in this page. We just install the SolarWinds software, and then once we come to this page, we can see all our servers here.
Okay.
So and the on the on the standby server, you will also see this option. You just have to click on this, and for this server, which is your backup server, which is your active server, that you have to select and click next. And here you have to give your virtual host name. For example, let's say if these two are on the same subnet, let's assume if these two are on the same subnet, yeah, these two are on the same subnet. Oh no, these two are on the different subnet. So let's go back, and I see there is
So here, are you setting up a high availability for the Polar or
yes,
web server?
web server, it is already built. See,
Okay.
web server, it is already built.
Yeah.
Main
But
pool. Okay,
but now
it
you're yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
I'm setting it up for the other additional polars. Setting
Okay.
up the HA for main pole and additional polars both are same.
Okay. So if we set up HAF on the additional Polar, what will happen?
Same, like one will be active and one will be standby. Let's assume now we want to set up uh, a HA for these two.
Okay.
Okay, additional
Okay.
polar
Polar,
and
Polar
additional
backup.
polar backup. We will select this. Okay, and next. See, this will be active and this will be standby. If this goes down,
Okay.
the services will be automatically switched to here.
Okay. So that means we can configure high availability on the web server level and also on the Polar level. Is that the one you
Yes,
say?
yes.
Okay. Okay.
Let's use the words main polar and additional polars so that you'll get used to it, and that's how you're gonna call it as well. Main polar is where we'll have website. Additional polars will are our scalability servers.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So one more question is, um, so okay, by default, okay, I'll check how it is configured in my environment
Yeah.
and let
If
me
you
see.
go to settings, my deployment, you can see it. And
Okay.
yeah, let's assume you want to create a HA pool for these two.
Mhm.
Here you have to firstly select that, and then select the main server, active server, and give the virtual IP. 10.0. You can check with your team and find out the IP that is not assigned on the same subnet and use that IP. Okay.
Okay.
Here I guess, yeah, 100 dot, these two are on the same subnet, right? 0.100, 0.100, and I'll use 10.5. So, and then click next, and then create pool. That's it. It
Okay.
will automatically uh, create a virtual IP, and this virtual IP will be fluctuating here and there. Let's say we want to set up HA on different subnets, 100.4 and 200.3. Okay,
Mhm.
100.200.3 and 100.4. Here you see a virtual host name is needed.
Mhm.
It's not virtual IP. Let's orion dot solarwinds.com virtual host orion SolarWinds. Let's give this name and then click next. So here it is asking us to give the DNS server details
Mhm.
so that it will place the record of this DNS and IP within that server, within the DNS server, and whenever active goes down, the other server will talk to the DNS server and pull the information of the virtual host name and assigns it to it. So basically, uh, here in this concept, this 200.3 will have two virtual host names.
To virtual
Okay,
host.
when it goes down, that virtual host name, the second will be assigned to 100.4.
Okay.
So that way, users will have will be communicated to a single virtual host name whenever the services goes down.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's the concept behind it. A very, yeah, only two concepts on a single subnet or on a multi subnet. If it is on a single subnet, you have to use virtual IP. You have to talk to your DNS team or whatever team, get an IP within the same subnet which is available. You just have to give it here and submit. Whereas in the other case, you have to create a DNS record and give the DNS record here along with your DNS server details.
So in the first case, don't we need a DNS record?
No, that's what, yeah, we don't need. So I'll just
So,
show
so,
you.
so only the IP address we can take it?
Yes, yes. Let's assume these two are on the same subnet, right?
3 and 4.
100.3 and
Yes.
100.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll click next. I'll,
Here it is asking a virtual IP address only. But
correct.
whenever we create every IP address will have some names, right? So how do we with what IP the customers means the users will access this application now?
Yeah, this 100.5.
Is it 100.5?
Yes,
So
yes.
that means
You can
so
also do that. You can also do one more thing. You can give that 100.5 also a name, and
Mhm.
then give that name to the users. See here, it directly ask giving us an option to create pool without any DNS details.
Mhm. But okay, so but actually, technically, I think it's both are same, right? IP or host name, because
Host name both.
we on host name also it'll have the IP address in the backend. So, but here you're saying only the name means. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So there may be some
yeah,
reason.
both are same. Maybe if some people does not want to give their
Hmm.
DNS server details in this, then
Okay.
I think that's where they brought this concept, I believe.
Hmm. Okay.
And moreover, uh, the credentials that we have to pass here is not a normal user credentials. It should almost have some admin level privileges only. So where
Admin
may
privileges of
uh,
admin level privileges of.
to connect to DNS server.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, here I'm trying to set it up for two WAN sites, and here we have to give the DNS server and zone, and then if I, yeah, only after giving this, then it will ask for it, I guess. Microsoft, yeah, see, it's asking for an username and password to connect to this DNS server, and uh, s- these DNS server, we should the username should have remote admin access to uh, the DNS server. Making sense?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so that's a concept of HA. I can share you the link of.
How this works? This demo is saying, right? How this works?
I mean,
This
it's a public site
availability.
demo. Everyone can
Okay.
access it.
Oh, is it? It means we should have logins and
No, no, no.
should.
You just have to
Huh?
click on that. It will automatically
Uh-huh.
prompt a logins for you. Just log in and just use it, just to show the users how the interface of SolarWinds will look like.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, I just pasted you the link as well in the chat if you want.
Yeah. 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 I clicked on it. I'll go through after this class.